Hi everyone, in this video tutorial I'll be going over how to create this pointed dome that is created from a segment that is then offset to create a solid watertight design. Alright, let's create a profile and a rail to sweep around to create the geometry of the pointed dome. So let's go to 0, 0, 0 and let's make it a 20-foot dome, so 120 inches. And let's create that profile by going to the center layer and also going to the quadrant. Now I make sure to use these snaps a lot and change them up. Also changing the project, because those are going to be really useful for you to be able to make them accurate and to do certain things that seem tricky. And yeah, so that would be project. But anyway, let's extrude this curve and create the height of that dome, which this one's going to be a little tall because I want to make it pointed. And so let's do this. Arc, start point, here, the end point here. Oh, I messed that up, see, because I have the project on, so let's do that again. Start point, end point, direction. See, because if you don't put direction, it'll create that center point there in the corner. So you do D space and it'll act as kind of like a vector direction. So that's a way that I create that profile, and that way there's no curves that are going out. That's something that you don't want to do. You don't want this curve ever to bulge out, because that would make it a little bit trickier to develop. I like to keep it kind of going in. So now that we have that, those are the default. Let's go here and do the dome shape. I'm going to make sure to add all these models for you to download. So let's go to sweep 1, have that rail selected, or if you don't have it selected, go to sweep, select the rail first, and then directly select the profile curve. We can go freeform. There's different options that you can see here. Freeform seems to give the best results, so that's what I'll be using today. Let's go here to shaded view, right click at the top left there, and so I can hide that, I can hide this, so we have that. And I've done another tutorial that a lot of people liked on subdividing this dome, so I'm going to be doing that, but this one is going to be solid. So let's go ahead and create the points. The points are going to subdivide this curve here by a certain number, and that way we can pick the density of the dome. So let's divide this curve. You hit spacebar and then it's going to give you the options. How many segments? Let's try 18. That seems like too much, so let's do like a 10 here. I think 10 looks pretty good. Now on the last video I drew lines to project. This time we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to create planes. So let's create a plane here so just type in plane and make sure to create a plane that's gonna be outside of the dome, because if you make it smaller then it's not going to intersect correctly. And what you want to do is, now that you have that selected, do copy vertical. So it only allows you to copy vertical even if you go here, or even if you go to the top there. So select points, and now you can go copy up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you see those planes are intersecting that curve evenly spaced. So now we can go here to the curves. Oh, let's change this layer name to dome curves. So okay, we can hide those. We can also hide this. We're gonna have to take that and intersect it with that. So let's try the command intersect two sets. What that does, it'll take the first set, which is the dome, and intersect the set of planes that are intersecting it. So first set, we'll go here, spacebar. The other ones that are intersecting it, those, spacebar, and you'll see that when you hide that, we have successfully created the dome shape. Which now we can go here, create points 2, because we already have a set of points. We want to put one right at the top, and we want to subdivide all of these. Last time I selected them individually. You can do them all at the same time. Divide all those curves. The seam is correct here. How many times? 10. That's too little. Let's do that again. Let's do 20. Oh, let's do that again here. Seam is correct, so let's do 20 here, and that's a lot better. So we can tell that for this dome the ratio is, if we create 10 subdivisions, it's going to be more than 2 times the divisions you have to do for the circle. So let's try that again. Let's do it a little bit more dense. Divide, that's correct. 20, let's do 25. That's a lot better. And so you can go here to the top view and see that we have all those points created. Now all we have to do is rotate the alternating divisions. To do that, we go to the top view, create project here from this point to this point. So what we're going to do is the alternating ones are going to go move from this point to this midpoint. Let me show you what I mean and how I do that. Go to the side view, zoom Z-A-E to go to all the extents, and you'll notice that if I select these, go to the top view here, rotate, no copies from here. See, if we move it from this point to this midpoint, keeping everything projected so we don't mess anything up, we can delete that curve, and we can go here to the side. Now we've created like a Christmas tree type dome. Now we can take this line and we can call it dome geo for the geometry of the dome. And now this is the fun part, because from here on we are going to develop it and make it into a solid. Okay, so now that we're here, let's start creating those triangles. Only select the points, and let's make our way around the points here. So what you want to do is go first, second, third, and then C to close. So that's what I'll be doing. 1, 2, 3, close. Okay, so now we have those points. All we need to do is go here. I'm going to type in, create a new layer for the block. So type in block here. And we can, at this top, create that block, which is block 1. Now let's bring everything back. See, we can select, we can actually keep those hidden. We don't need those. All we need is the dome geometry. But I do want to scale everything up except for that. So let's keep all the steps here. And what I'm going to do is copy this over so we don't mess with any of our original things that we, or all the original steps. So let me copy that here. Okay. Now, this is the tricky part. Kind of tricky part. Because we can delete this. Now that we have that, we can take, you know, this geometry. There's certain things that we might not need, like those subdivided points, these. We don't need those. All we need is this shape and that initial block. Because to make it solid, we have to scale this grid of points out a certain distance, so we can loft those planes together. Let me show you what I mean. So now that we have this block here, we also have this base circle. We can offset one of those circles. So let's make a new layer with a new color. I do that just to make sure I'm able to see the new things I create. So offset. Let's make it a 8-inch offset. Here we have that. So we want to scale a copy of all of that from this point to there, and let's do that right now. So scale, copy. That's the trick. Copy from the center point to the quadrant, which we have a point there anyway, to that quadrant. And now look at that, we have a thickness to it now, which should help us if we're trying to create a solid dome, or if we want to difference some pattern in the middle here. We have those options. Since you have this as a block, I'll show you how easy it is to hide this. Let me show you how easy it is to create that that shape. So we have those two blocks, which once again copy here and then explode. The reason why I do that is because if I mess with this and then I want to get back to the original, I still have these that are not inside of the block. Since these are inside of the block, everything that I do to that will change, will make a difference on the other one. So let's go in here, type in, we're gonna create the outer planes. So let's go in here, type in planes. Planes 2, and let's also do a loft. So the loft will go after. We'll do the planes first. So let's go in here, select all of them, and since they're all triangles inside of there, if you type in planar surface, you'll get all those planes inside of those triangles. And we can loft each individual one, or we can loft these two outer curves together to create that. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be creating that outer line duplicating that outer line. So we can go ahead, go here and explode block, and we can join it. So we have these. Oh, let me select these. So we have all of these, and if I deselect those joined surfaces, we can delete those curves. We don't really need them because we already have them inside of this geometry. So we can go ahead and loft together these. And one thing that's nice about triangles is that they're fairly easy to develop because there's no curves, and curves are usually what causes most of the issues when you're trying to make things into solids. Hopefully with the new Rhino that'll be fixed, but I'm still in the Rhino 5, so who knows. For now, I really like developing domes kind of like this because they work out pretty good for solid tight designs that some people want to do 3D modeling, so it makes sense. Or 3D printing, sorry. Okay, here we go. Oh, sometimes if you go from opposite corner to opposite corner, you'll get cross, so make sure you stay on the same side. That's one little trick that that'll help save you a lot of time. So if you select all of those, let's go here to that red one. Select all of those and type in J for join, and then change object layer. So now this is a solid watertight section that we've created, and that's literally all we need. That's it. That's the whole dome. It's a little snake going up. So let's let me show you what I mean. It's go to the top view and just start rotating with a copy. So let's go here, endpoint, just make sure you once again you make a copy. Make sure you copy it and make sure that you're not overlapping, or that it's a good point that you're copying to, because sometimes you might overlook it and it will cause some issues if it's not perfectly on a snap. So I'm even taking a risk here by going to an endpoint. I should be going to the points that I projected, because those are more accurate than sometimes overlapping surfaces. So let's go here to this top view, and now we have the dome solid. Boom, all of those are solids. And now if you wanted to, you just see we saved that because we might need it again. We might even take those and turn them into pipes, and then we have our base geometry if we want to mess around, make it taller or shorter. So that's the way you would create a solid watertight. So Boolean union, actually before I do that, see, I was gonna union it, but then I realized, you know what, I'm gonna go to the top view here, and I'm gonna make a copy of that so I don't lose that. So I'm gonna Boolean union this together, and let me show you the effects that it can create. Because once you have it as a solid, you can do other things that you can mess around with. See, it's a perfectly solid dome. Now, if you went back and instead of, let's see, I'm going to deselect one. If you go in here and you create, let's see, is this a block? This is not a block. It's a closed poly surface. It says there, closed poly surface. So if we wanted to, we could create a block of this and call it block 2. And in here we can even do something crazy, which is duplicate the face here and duplicate the face. I guess we can do a couple of them, and then we offset this curve. We offset 3 inches. We offset this 3 inches, and naturally it's going to want to extrude perpendicular to the plane that it creates. So let's extrude, and let's extrude this. And so if we difference these, we are creating more of a transparency now. And this is something that if you also wanted to 3D print, it should be watertight solid. And since we have those as blocks, we can rotate these and get that. I am gonna make multiples of that one just to kind of see if I can get quick response, quick copy. See, now we've created a little bit more of a transparency, and we can select duplicates. No, there's no duplicates. Okay, we can take this, explode, or no, we can say, okay, we have this dome here, we have all those openings, but I do want to have, you know, also an opening along this one, but I don't want it to be I don't want it to be a triangle, I want it to be a circle. So you could create a surface there. We can see if we have a midpoint, a center point here. Oh, okay. I think we chose this one. So C-plane, surface, and then we can do a circle in here. We can move that around to our liking. And then we can extrude the curve, Boolean difference. It now, okay, it has a C-plane world top to get it back, and then see, now if you wanted that, if you wanted some holes at the top, then now you have some holes at the top. So that's the way to be able to kind of create a solid watertight dome that has a thickness, but also you can edit the block to create some transparency. And so that is yeah, that's the tutorial for that. So I hope you found it useful. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure to like and subscribe, that way you can be up to date on the new videos that I do. Thank you very much for watching.